Hello. Hello to all of you, depending upon what time it may be. Today will be a practice in feet. We've all been moving our body as well a little bit, but this will be a focus on feet. And I offer the idea, I'll start with as a mental health therapist. We know that when negative experiences happen, there's a separation between the brain and the body. So you may have felt that before in certain situations or moving through life. Sometimes we describe it as a floating head, kind of just really feel very disconnected from the body itself. And in my own journey, I have felt that for a very long time in the past, and it still holds true for me every now and then. I find myself feeling disconnected from the body. The practice of yoga brings us into the body, and so I have felt that more so through my practice of yoga. But there was a time that I realized, this is how I describe it, with a mental health practice that I have, I've realized to change what's going on up here and learn skills to do that. And as I have continued my journey in yoga, I have brought that awareness and understanding down to about the root of my spine. Yoga focuses a lot on the spine, and then I was at a silent retreat, and it became very aware to me that I had left out the whole lower half of my body. And so as I realized that, I started focusing more on my feet to bring me down as low in the body as I possibly could. So the feet are extremely important. All of the nerves that begin in the brain end up in our hands and our feet. We walk on our feet all day long. One of the hardest things we ever learned how to do, and we now take it for granted most of the time. So the feet are extremely important. They help to ground us, and we can feel this. Play with it throughout your day. If something happens or you find yourself tending to be up in the head a lot thinking, can you travel down to your feet and ground yourself? When we're up here, we don't feel grounded. And when we drop into the body and primarily all the way down to the feet, then we can begin to feel more grounded mentally as well as physically. There is a wealth of information out there about the feet. I would highly encourage people to be curious and explore, to stay open-minded, and to just see what they can discover about themselves. So I would offer the idea to begin by just noticing how it was to see the title of feet and to hear about it now. And is the mind saying, oh no, I don't want to focus on my feet? Many of us are even repelled by the feet. We resist the idea to look at them, to clean them well. They're the furthest part of our body away. And so just taking a few moments to notice what your thoughts are about your feet. And And then allowing yourself to be curious. Can you feel any sensations currently happening in your feet? And just notice. And being at home, I would usually give you prompts, so I'll give you a couple minutes to gather. You don't need to have any prompts for this. I'll guide you through how to not have any prompts. But if you have a block at home or a large book, that could be helpful in the practice today. If you have a tennis ball or a golf ball or anything like that, that would also be helpful. So just allowing yourself to go gather those things if they're not too far away. Allowing yourself to not feel rushed while you're doing that. And then meeting me on the mat, with or without. You don't need to be sitting on a block. Just happen to be here. So as we wait for people who may be gathering things, being in this unknown virtual world, I would, if you are on your mat, just notice your feet. Notice how they're touching the floor, if they're touching the floor. Notice if you can feel any sensations in your feet. And if it's difficult to notice sensations or there's a resistance to it, can you just stay curious? When I started this journey into the feet, I realized that I actually could not feel sensations in my feet. And just knowing that that is perfectly okay, and allowing the brain to stay open and curious through this practice to see if that changes. Noticing the feet, any sensations occurring in the feet. Any pulsing, small muscle movements, tingling, any pain. We will often resist pain, and that's the natural automatic reaction that happens from the brain to the body, but that's also what causes the disconnection. So can you allow yourself to be brave enough to be curious, even if there is pain? We start our life with no arches in our feet. And we often end our life that way. Although there's a lot that we can do to encourage the arches and the movement of the feet that as a result end up affecting the entire body, including all of our organs. You may notice by just sitting here and paying attention to the feet, you may start feeling a little bit more of a sensation without even doing anything. And if that's not happening, know that that is perfect and stay curious. Noticing the feet. Notice what happens each time I say feet. The base of our entire body, feet. And then slowly, if you have been able to gather a ball, bringing that closer to you. So the ball can be used in a standing position. And you could just begin to play with rolling the ball under your feet, 1 foot at a time. Just playing with it. If you don't have a ball, you can, the other day I was sitting with a chair in front of me and just playing with rubbing my foot back and forth on the chair. So see if you can be creative. If you don't have a chair or a ball, the 2 ways that's easiest to do this without reaching your feet. If you can reach your feet, making a fist and gently beginning to massage the foot. So just finding one way that works for you. And noticing the thoughts that you're having as you begin to look at your feet. Is there a resistance to even touch the foot? Are there thoughts of not liking certain parts? Can you encourage a sense of gratitude for the foot right now, for all that it does for you? And slowly, in some way, moving around the foot with the ball or the fist, or if you're in a chair. See if you can move around the foot as much as possible. And if you'd like, you could use both hands to massage the toes. Notice if this is grossing you out at all, and just stay curious. You can always wash your hands. So it is said that each part of the foot represents a part in the body. So really, the more you can get into this, the more you are affecting change in your body and the organs and throughout. Maybe you rub on the top of the foot. Again, allowing yourself to change. You don't have to be doing exactly what I'm doing. Just paying attention to the feet in some way. Noticing what you feel. If there's some knots in some places, or when you touch a part, there is more of a sensation or discomfort or pain. Being gentle with yourself, but allowing yourself to explore that area. For me, it's often right in the center. I don't know how you're all feeling right now. Seeing if you can move all the way around the foot in whatever way feels good for you right now. And then switching feet. Maybe immediately noticing the difference in the foot from one side to the other, either by look or feel. Noticing all of the arches in the feet. There are 3. All of the bones. Interesting how the top of our leg has 1 bone, the bottom part of our leg has 2, and the feet has 26. A lot of bones in the feet, allowing us to move, to balance. And again, can you find gratitude for your feet? Whether you can reach them and touch them right now or not, can you find gratitude? Can you play with moving them, massaging them with your hands or something else? Paying attention to the feet. That's what we want when we're in pain, right? We want attention. Can we give this really important part of our body attention? Noticing the thoughts, softening the thoughts. Staying curious about how this could possibly affect change in your day. It could. Noticing if you're thinking, is this really yoga? Why am I still here? It is. This is yoga. This is the root of yoga, the root of the body. Can you allow yourself to slowly move into any intense sensations or pain with kindness, curiosity maybe about what part of the body each part of the foot signifies, correlates to? Noticing the feet, massaging the feet in whatever way you can. Allowing yourself to remember all the parts of the foot, to give them all a little bit of love and attention. And giving a couple last massages in any way that feels right and good for you. And before we move on, taking notes, we have 4 corners of the foot. So 2 corners at the top and 2 corners at the bottom. It may feel more like 1, but the 4 corners of the foot. So we'll be playing with that. Just allowing that massage to come to a close. finding a comfortable seated position that works for you. Noticing it may feel different. Maybe your feet want to be exposed a little bit more. And allowing yourself to soften the gaze. Maybe finding a point off the tip of your nose on the floor. Or closing the eyes completely. And allowing the focus and the brain to move to the feet. Noticing any sensations that are occurring there now. Can you feel any pulsing, tingling? Can you still feel the imprint of your hands on your feet? Noticing how you feel. And very slowly coming to a standing position in whatever way works for you. And if you do have access to a block or a book, you could place it in between your feet as you stand. And if you don't, no worries. Don't need to have that. Just finding your feet hip width apart here. Feeling the feet on the ground. And maybe raising the toes. I would encourage a raising of the toes. And then spreading them as wide as you can and placing them on the mat. Maybe rolling up onto the toes, back onto the heels. So often this happens in a yoga class, but we move very quickly through it. Can you really spread the toes? Feel them connect. Can you start playing with the idea of the four corners of the foot? Maybe there's a movement to the side. Feeling the feet. Knowing that although this may feel like a very slow-moving yoga class, it is extremely important to the well-being of your brain and your body. So can you stay with it? Feeling the sides of the feet, the four corners, continuing to play with spreading the toes as you lift them and then allowing them to fan out onto the mat. And then allowing stillness here. Can you begin to feel or notice the four corners of the foot? If you can imagine that in your mind, feel it with the body. Notice if you're leaning, if you have the tendency to lean to one side or the other. And can you press through the soles of the feet, moving them in any way that works for you to feel those four corners meeting. Learning to stand again. And then bending the knees slightly, really feeling the feet on the floor, pushing the inner edges of the feet towards the block if you have one, if not really feeling a tightening from the inner feet up through the lower legs, as if you're beginning to zip up in between the middle of your body. And as you do that, as you tighten through the lower legs, zipping up, tightening through the upper legs, tightening all of the muscles around the bone, feeling the outer thighs moving out as you zip up, curling the tailbone under, engaging the core, rolling the shoulders up and back, having the arms and hands strong, dropping the shoulders away from the ears and lifting through the crown of the head. Tadasana, mountain pose. Can you feel your feet? Can you feel that zipper all the way up the midline? Feel your feet. Notice a sway and go with that sway, allowing a back and forth, a side to side, and find where your center is. Zipping up through the legs, engaging the core, finding that center for yourself. Feeling the feet and the four corners of the feet on the mat. Noticing the head. How is the neck? Is it effortless to hold it there? And allowing movement in the neck, maybe side to side or back and forth, and finding a place of ease for the neck, where it just rests gently, effortlessly on top of the body. Feeling the feet on the mat. Zipping up through the midline, feeling the inner thighs, and allowing the outer thighs to move to the outer edges. Playing with that idea. Allowing the body to be soft but strong in this pose. Feeling the feet. Noticing how it is to stand. Noticing the sensations in the feet. And then very slowly and gently, if there was a block in between your feet, moving that out. Finding your mountain. Soft and gentle. Learning to stand. And beginning to walk for the first time, slowly shifting the weight to one foot and lifting the other, and slowly walking to the front of the mat. Notice if walking is a challenge. So we will move through a short walking meditation. So allowing the eyes to be soft, allowing the focus to be on the feet. And to very slowly, mindfully, begin walking back and forth from one side of the mat to the other. And doing it as slowly as possible so that you feel all that it takes to make this movement possible in the body. And to feel the soles of the feet making connection with the mat, ground. And when you get to the edge of the mat, no certain way to turn, just slowly, mindfully, feeling those four corners of the feet on the mat, on the ground. Are you noticing your feet in a different way? Can you? Is the mind taking you away from the feet, calling attention? And can you bring it back to the feet each time you notice that? Slowly encouraging the focus of the brain to be on the feet. Noticing what is difficult about this. Maybe you were prepared for a different yoga practice today. Maybe that's the difficult part. And can you stay with this? Maybe you're finding it's difficult to balance, walking slowly. And allowing yourself to continue the walk, finding yourself at the top of your mat when you have completed. And allowing yourself to play with the feet again here, feeling the side arches, the arch and the top of the feet. Playing with the feet, spreading the toes. Imagining a fan, spreading that fan, and then planting those toes down. Feeling the sole of the feet on the mat. Noticing the sensations of the feet. Then bending the knees and feeling the soles of the feet. Begin tightening the muscles in the lower part of the legs as you begin to lengthen, straightening the legs, zipping up the inside of the legs and thighs through the midline, feeling the core engage, chest lift, shoulders up and back, lifting through the crown of the head, mountain. Notice if any of the parts of your feet have lifted up, and can you encourage them back down. Inhaling, lifting the arms up, reaching towards the sky, feeling the feet planted in the earth. Reaching as high as you can, feeling the stretch in the body, feeling the feet rooted in the ground. Inhaling and exhaling, arms come to a T, reaching through the fingertips, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, hinging at the hips, slowly and mindfully swan diving forward, feeling the feet rooted in the mat, in the ground. Finding your form of forward fold wherever that may be. Hands can be anywhere on the legs. And wherever you are, allowing the head to be heavy, the neck to be loose. Breathing into the forward fold. Feeling the feet on the mat. Breathing here. Bending the knees slightly and rolling up. Feeling the vertebrae. Feeling the feet on the mat. Inhaling, lifting the arms, reaching towards the sky. Exhaling, arms come wide, reaching through the fingertips, hinging at the hips, swan diving forward. Slowly and mindfully, and can you still feel the feet rooted on the mat? Breathing into your forward fold. Allowing the upper body to waterfall softly and gently as you feel the strength from your feet through the lower body, holding you securely here. And then bending the knees as much as it takes to plant the hands on the mat. Bringing the right leg back into a high lunge and the left foot to meet it. You can stay in high plank or drop the knees to the mat for low plank. Gaze is towards the mat, spine is straight. And can you hug towards the midline here? So can you feel that zipper up from your toes through the center of your body? Feeling your thighs moving towards each other. And then bending the elbows, slowly lowering down. Forehead meets the mat, feet flatten, inhaling, lifting up, creating an arch in the back. Exhaling, forehead to mat. Curling the toes. And lifting up through plank, downward facing dog. Feeling the feet. Playing with the feet, maybe coming up onto the balls of the toes. And then stretching back down, moving the heels towards the mat. They never have to meet here. Then dropping the knees, keeping the toes where they are, and coming down onto your chest and your chin. So the chin is touching, the chest is touching, the knees are touching, and the toes are touching. Taking 3 breaths here. And then gently lifting up, pushing the hips back, leaving the toes where they are, if that is okay for you. And gently leaning back onto the toes. Feeling them spread on the floor. Breathing into the toes. Gently walking forward, bringing the hands slightly forward and lifting the hips up, downward facing dog. Bending the knees a lot and walking or hopping to the top of the mat, feeling the feet connecting all 4 corners, forward fold. Rolling up through the spine. Arms left. Reaching towards the sky. Can you feel the feet? Inhaling here, exhaling, arms come to a T, hinging at the hips. Forward fold. Slowly and mindfully feeling all that it takes to balance on these 2 feet. Finding your version of forward fold. And taking a few breaths here. Feeling the feet. Bending the knees as much as it takes to bring the hands to the mat and bringing the left leg back into a high lunge. Right foot to meet and allowing yourself to drop the knees if you would like. Either way, feeling that zipper all the way through the midline. Reaching the feet towards each other, the lower legs, upper thighs, zipping up, feeling that midline. And then bending the elbows, slowly lowering down. Forehead meets the mat, feet flatten. Inhale, lifting the head, arching the back. Exhale, forehead to mat, curling the toes, and lifting up, downward facing dog. Lifting the hips high. Breathe in here. Maybe lifting onto the toes and then planting back, moving the heels towards the mat. They never have to meet. Lifting the hips and then dropping the knees, keeping the toes where they are, coming forward, dropping down onto the chest and lowering the chin. Can you feel the arch in your neck, in your lower back, in your knees, in your toes? Noticing the arches and the curves in the spine. And breathing here. And then gently lifting up, bringing the hips back over the toes. Dropping the forehead to the mat. Giving the toes another stretch, breathing into them. Gently lifting up, lowering the toes, flattening the tops of the feet onto the mat and coming into child's pose. Noticing in this pose there's one curve in the spine. Breathing here. Noticing the feet. Can you feel any sensations in the feet here? Noticing that. And then coming forward, curling the toes, bringing the hands slightly forward, lifting the hips up, downward facing dog. Breathing here, bending the knees and hopping or jumping to the top of the mat, planting all four corners of the feet down, forward fold. Breathing here. Bending the knees, slowly rolling up. Inhale, lifts the arms. And exhale, allowing the arms to float to the sides. Can you feel your feet? Shifting the weight onto the left foot, feeling the connection of the left foot and all four corners of it on the mat. Finding a point of focus that is not moving and slowly playing with lifting the right leg up. And you can play with that so the toe can touch. Notice what works for you. Playing with balance on the left foot. Feeling the movement, knowing that is perfect. That's what the foot is made for. And then slowly bringing that right foot back about 3 feet away from the left. Straightening that front foot. Inhaling, lifting the arms. And exhaling, bringing the arms to a T, shifting the hips towards the top of the mat. And then swan diving, hinging at the hips, slowly over the left leg. Feeling both feet connected to the mat. And here, if you have a block or a chair, you could use that as a prop. Feeling both feet connected. Slowly lowering down. Imagining your spine straight, so gaze is towards the mat. On the inhale, there's a slight lift. On the exhale, you may fold over the leg more. Feeling the feet, pushing the feet into the mat, noticing how that changes the legs. Feeling all four corners of the feet. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, folds. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, folds. Feel the feet planted. Notice how when you plant the four corners of the feet, the feelings in the legs change. And then bending that left knee and inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, arms come wide into your hips, stepping forward and engaging in a soft mountain pose. Feeling the feet planted in the mat, allowing your head to be relaxed and gently resting on the top of the spine. Noticing the feeling in the feet. Being curious if they feel slightly different right now. Shifting the weight over to the right foot and gently playing with lifting the left. Noticing if one side is easier for balance than the other. Maybe you're noticing that with all the connection of the feet on the mat, that this balance is a little bit easier. May not be. Notice. Notice the wobbles and feel all the movement in the feet. How it keeps you balanced and standing. And can you feel that midline here? Can you hug the inner thighs towards each other? Feeling your center. And then bringing that left foot back about 3 feet away from the right. Shifting the hips towards the top of the mat. Straightening the right foot. Inhaling, lifting the arms. Exhaling, bring them out to a T and hinging at the hips, swan diving over that right leg. Using your props, gazing at the mat, feeling that nice straight spine. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, folds. Feeling the feet on the mat, all 4 corners placed. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, folds. Continuing to readjust the feet so you feel those 4 corners. And when you engage them, noticing the change in the legs. Feeling the feet, zipping those inner thighs towards each other, noticing the change in the legs here. Feeling the feet. And then bending that right knee, inhaling, lifting the arms up. Exhaling, arms come wide to your hips and stepping forward, finding your mountain, a soft and gentle mountain. Feeling your feet, allowing your head to be resting gently on the top of your spine without effort. Notice how it feels to be standing. Staying curious about the sensations in your feet. And gently and slowly finding your way long on the mat in any way that works for you. Finding yourself in your final resting pose. And often I will suggest any pose. Today, I will suggest staying in the traditional Shavasana. The arms down by your side, resting gently. Your feet long, legs long, feet relaxed out. Noticing how the body feels right now. Noticing if you can feel the soles of your feet right now. Noticing any sensations. Noticing how this laying mountain pose feels on the body. And with each out breath, can you gently soften it into the floor even more? Allowing the body to rest. Can you notice the arches and curves in the spine here, starting with the neck? Noticing how it's lifting off of the mat and slowly moving down the spine, noticing the upper spine touches and the lower spine lifts, base of the spine touching. And moving through the legs, noticing the lift and arch in the knees and the ankles. And then feeling with your mind's eye the arches of the foot. Noticing if you feel any sensations as you do that. Finding appreciation for all of the arches, providing spring and movement, supporting us. And allowing the rest of this time together to be in silence. Allowing yourself to notice when the mind takes you away from the sensations in the body. And can you bring that back each time gently to noticing the sensations occurring in the body, and especially right now the feet. Noticing when the mind wanders, bringing it back to the sensations in the feet. And if you find that the mind is busy right now, which it often is, maybe encouraging a repetition in the mind of the word feet as you breathe in and breathe out, and allowing the mind to focus back on the feet. feet, feet, feet. Noticing the sensations in the feet. And then slowly beginning to bring movement back into the body. Stretching in any way that works for you right now. And gently coming up to a seated position of your choosing. And allowing yourself to feel the base of your spine rooted on the mat, and crown of the head and top of the spine reaching towards the sky. Noticing the feet. Taking a deep inhale here. Exhaling. On your next inhale, filling the body, expanding. Exhaling, letting go of anything you need. And doing that one more time, filling the body. Exhaling, letting go. Gently opening the eyes if they were closed. Coming back to the space that you are in. Noticing your feet. I thank you all for joining me in this practice of feet. I would encourage you to stay curious and continue to feel your feet throughout the day. And wash your hands. Be well. Enjoy the day.